I often talk about how it's never too late for women to reinvent themselves, to live the life that they imagined. But sometimes it's not always about the sexy stuff, the traveling, the creating a side hustle, finding new hobbies. Sometimes the most empowering things that women can do and they gain the most confidence from are the not so fun things. That's what this is about. There are 5 things that every woman 50 plus needs to get a handle on pronto, and most avoid them like the plague. I am not saying every woman out there is like this, and I'm not just saying it's women because there are plenty of men that this applies to as well. But for this video's purposes, I'm just going to say it's 50 plus women. You might think of someone as you're watching this. Share the video with them. Hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be talking about this as a series. You'll see what I mean here in just a second. The purpose of the series is not to shame anyone, to say, "Oh, you don't know this." No, because most people don't. I have been a real estate broker for over 20 years, and I have sat down and had some really hard conversations. Actually, not just some. I've had many, many hard conversations with women at a kitchen table. I found out a lot about them and the things they don't know anything about. Many of them just want to avoid it. They don't want to cause a scene. They don't think they know enough. All of that is false. I'm here to help you. What are these 5 things? I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of each one and then do a deep dive into each topic in future videos. Again, hit the subscribe button if this interests you. I would guarantee there's probably at least 1 or 2 that you can say, I don't feel 100% confident in. I think personally, for most women, they're going to be more than 1 or 2. I live in a 55 plus community. I've lived here for closer to 8 years than 7. I've been saying 7.5 years, but we're moving towards 8. I have friends that fit this bill and they're great people. But unfortunately, they're in these situations as well. Let's talk about number 1. What is something that you need to get a handle on? The number 1 thing, your financial life, your financial world. Now, some of you may say, that was my background and I'm handling it. That's fantastic. The majority of women, it seems like 50 and above, have always let someone else manage that for them. Maybe as you were raising kids, maybe as people were in careers, whatever it might be, there were kind of lines in the sand, so to speak. You handle this part of our life, I'll handle this part of the life. Sometimes your spouse or partner is the one that handled the financial world. For you now to jump in, maybe you've asked some questions and they get a little defensive. I think sometimes that's coming from a place of love. They want to take care of you. They don't want you to worry about it. They don't think this is your strength, and maybe it isn't. So they'll say, I'll handle it. I'm going to help you with that and how to maneuver that particular tactic. I also know there are some spouses and partners that on a personal level, I adore as a friend, but I also know it's a control thing with them. They like to control the money. They like to know everything and they will dole it out, the knowledge. I'm not talking about the money. It may be the money, but they kind of dole that out when they want to. So that's a whole nother challenge for you. Why do I think you need to know your financial world? Maybe you're thinking, oh, if I had to, I would get one of my adult kids to help. That is so hard, you guys. Maybe you had to be in someone's shoes like that. I've had to a few times where I'm the one having to deal with someone's financial life and I don't know anything about them. It could be a family member, but that is very hard because you're not living in their household at all. You need to get on board with knowing this information. I'm not saying you need to manage the money, you need to invest the money, not at all, but you need to access it. You need to be able to not get locked out of your life. For instance, let's say you have a property tax bill. Is it paid through a mortgage? Do you have a mortgage? Some people don't know that. Are you on the title for the house? Some people don't know that. The property taxes, if you're paying them out of a bank account, do you need to move money from one bank account to another? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to access it? Where are your financial documents? Where are they living? Are they in the cloud? Do you know what the cloud is? Do you know how to access it? Is it in a safe in your home? Do you know how to access the safe? Do you know the code? Is it in a safe deposit box? Safe deposit boxes are becoming kind of a thing of the past from what I can see, but some banks still have them. Do you know which bank it's in? I can't tell you how many women I know who are sitting there going, I have no idea what bank we have a safe deposit box in, and they don't know where to find that information. So they're going from bank to bank trying to figure that out. It's not fun. It's not fun. Usually, let's be serious. When you have to learn this kind of thing, it's not in the best of circumstances. What you need to think is, what if that spouse or partner that's handling all of this, what if they became unavailable tomorrow morning? I'm not saying they've passed away, although that's obviously a big concern in this situation. But what if they become incapacitated? What if they have a serious illness all of a sudden and they're in the hospital for 6 months? Trying to transfer money on a bank account while they're sitting in a hospital bed is almost impossible. Maybe they're unconscious. Maybe they've had a stroke. You've got to step in because this is your life. You need to know how to access this. You need to know, what is your normal electric bill. So if you had an electric bill and it's normally $100 and it comes in at 500, you've got to really ask some questions. I see that a lot with, this is a real estate agent in me, but with like water bills, because sometimes the water bill all of a sudden will go really high and you have a leak that you didn't know about somewhere in the house, somewhere outside the house. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know what your typical bills are. Now, I again am not saying you need to manage this money. You need to figure out what to do about that leak. I'm not saying that at all. You need to have access. You need to be aware of it. You need to know this stuff and not just say, I'll figure it out later, or I'll have my adult kid figure it out who may be 5 states over. Think about that. Think about when you were your adult kid's age. What was your life like? You were probably treading water, or you were heads first in a career or with your kids, and you're just trying to manage your own life, much less try to handle your parents' life, who you know nothing about what their electric bill is every single month, but somehow, some way you've asked them to do that for you. You know your kids better than anyone. Maybe that's not their strength. I'm telling you, we're not all meant to be a financial person, right? You don't have to be that financial person. You just need to know what your resources are. So that's the number one big thing that you need to know about. Although all 5 of these, I think, are big things in different ways. Number 2, this is such a big one. Passwords, digital documents. We live in a digital world. You two may be dealing with this now, your partner or your spouse. Maybe you're online and he changes the password, not intentionally, but you know when you log in all the time and they're like, it's time to change your password. And he changes it, but he doesn't tell you what it is because he forgot. He moved on to something else. You've got to figure out how to learn what those passwords are. I had to take over the estate of someone who passed away, who said she had a will, by the way, and she did not. Man, that's a whole nother topic. I had no idea what her passwords were on any accounts. I didn't know what accounts she even had. Do you know how hard that was? No one in her life knew that. She was the keeper of all of that information. No one had a clue. So hard. I can't tell you how many times I was over at different banks, government offices. I was working full time. I lived locally at the time. It was so difficult. Can you imagine if you were asking your adult kids to do this and they didn't even live near you? It's going to be hard enough as it is. When my mom was alive and she lived kind of in a 55 plus community, there was a lady next door. Her husband passed away and then she became ill. Her adult daughter had to quit her job and move to be with her mom to manage everything because her mom didn't have a clue. It was really a financial hardship for the daughter. It caused a lot of issues because she had kids that she wanted to be there for, but she couldn't. They were in another city. It caused issues for her marriage. It's just a lot to ask of someone when you could take charge of this right now and figure out those passwords, figure out how to access your financial documents and where are they located. That's number 2. Again, we're doing a deep dive in that. I'm going to help you out. Number 3 kind of goes hand in hand with some of this. All of this kind of goes hand in hand. Your home, your car, the upkeep, the maintenance. Many times the spouse handles a lot of this, and you don't want to be out there changing the oil in your car. And I am not saying that's what you need to do at all. Let's say your spouse, your partner is in the hospital for 6 months. You see water coming out of the dishwasher. What do? Do you panic and say, I've got to call Joe? Oh, he's in the hospital, or he's unconscious, or he's not here. You've got to figure out, what do I do? Are you going to call your neighbor? Are you going to call your son or daughter 5 states over, or even in the state, and make them stop everything and come over? No, you want to figure out, who do I call for that? I'm not saying you need to get on your back and start figuring out what's wrong with the dishwasher. I don't know many people who could do that, but you need to know, who do we call for that? Let's say, you have air filters that need to be changed. How often are they changed? Should you hire a handyman to do that on a routine basis if that's something you can't do? That goes along with your car. I'm just going to be truthful here. I get so mad and so frustrated because in a car dealership to this day I get treated differently than my husband. I will go and take my car in for service. I get completely different service than my husband does. It's a fact. I'm sorry. It's been happening to me for 30 something years. It's so frustrating. My husband, many times, will now take the car in just to help me out. But does that mean I just turn everything over to him and I don't even worry about what the car needs? No. I need to know, okay, my car probably gets an oil change X number of months or X number of miles. This is normally what it costs. Well, okay, I rotate my tires X number of times a year or whatever it may be, a number of miles. When do I need to figure out if I need new tires? Am I the one doing this? No, I'm not, but I know about it. I know what the cost is. So if everything changed and I was the one taking my car back in for, let's say, an oil change, and they try to charge me 3 times what it normally is, I'm going to know that's 3 times what the normal cost is. This is the kind of stuff you just need to know about. If your air conditioner goes out, who are you going to call? Are you going to panic? You're going to start crying. I mean, I probably would start crying, right? Because it's like, oh no, it's July 4th. That's always when we have air conditioner problems. I would know what to do. I would be empowered. I'd say, I'm going to call this company. We've always used them and we really like them. Right now, you may not have a clue what to do with that. One thing I'm going to mention that kind of goes back to the digital world, but I'm thinking about this in regards to home. I know many people who let their spouse or partner handle all of the streaming services in their house because seriously now there are not many people who don't have at least one streaming service, meaning Netflix or Amazon Prime or something along the line, YouTube TV. And they're like, "Oh, I just don't want to learn about it." You need to learn about it because I bet you have some shows you really like to watch. Maybe it's a stress reliever for you and you enjoy it. If you're now by yourself or you're having to deal with it, wouldn't it feel good to just to take a break and sit down and watch whatever it is? For me, it would be trashy reality TV that has no meaning whatsoever, but it takes me away from everything. What if I figured out I don't know how this works? I don't know how to get the sound to work because maybe your spouse or partner set up this really complicated system because they love to do that kind of thing, but you have no clue how it works. Or if you can't get your Netflix to work, maybe you didn't pay the bill. Who knows? You've got to figure that out as well. You need access to that. You need to find out who to call for what. What is the fourth thing that you need to get a handle on? This is a sensitive one, but I'm just going to be blunt, okay? Because there's no tiptoeing around this. I have many friends who no longer want to drive. They just don't want to. They don't want to drive at night. They don't feel comfortable driving at night. They don't get on the freeways. They will often say, I'll put on my big girl pants and get on the freeway if I have to. If you really press them, when was the last time you were on the freeway? It's been 6 years. Are they the best people to be placed on a freeway? Not for their own safety, they are not, and not for the other safety around them. For people who are driving, you don't want someone who feels so nervous and hasn't driven on a freeway in 6 years driving next to you. Okay. I'm not saying buck up and get back on the freeway at all. If you don't feel comfortable driving, you don't feel comfortable driving. Many times it's just easy to let your spouse or your partner take you everywhere. Maybe it's to doctor's appointments. Maybe it's to see friends. Maybe it's to go shopping. You have got to figure out what's your plan. So what if your spouse and partner are no longer able to drive? I saw this happen in my neighborhood where one was always driving and the other just had kind of given up driving. And then guess what happened? He had a stroke. He couldn't drive anywhere. They were relying on neighbors. They had no kids nearby. Plus, to ask your kids to always take you somewhere. I mean, I know a lot would do it, but that's kind of asking for a lot. But they're asking their friends and neighbors. Their friends and neighbors have to drop everything to take them to the grocery store, to do whatever it may be for them. That's not a good way to plan your life at all. Again, I'm not saying you need to start driving. No, you need to have options. You need to have a plan. Let's say I was sitting here in my house and I don't drive, but I have got to get to the dentist. How am I going to get there? That's what you need to think about. You've got to plan. You've got to figure out this could very well happen I hope it doesn't, but what am I going to do? As a side note, I was telling a friend of mine this just the other day who is kind of in the same boat. She said she maybe drives twice a month now. She said, "Isn't that terrible?" I said, "It's not terrible, but do you rely on your husband?" She said, "Yes, I rely on him." I said something to her that I don't know. I believe this. I think women are more apt to say they don't feel comfortable driving anymore than men. Now, many times you're of a similar age range. My husband and I are very close in age. If I say I don't feel comfortable driving at night, or if I say I don't want to be on a freeway anymore, what are the odds that he shouldn't be on the freeway anymore? What are the odds that he shouldn't be driving at night? They're probably pretty good. I mean, he probably shouldn't be either, but he might not ever admit it. So you got to think about that as well, because that's a whole nother conversation. Have options, have plans. That's number 4. What's number 5? This is a personal pet peeve of mine. It's very common to do because you don't want to think about it. You don't want to do it. It's leaving a mess behind for your kids to clean up. This is not fun. I'm going to give you a very good example. My husband inherited some silver from his mom years ago. She's been passed away many years. We have moved it from house to house. We don't use that silver. Call us lazy, but it's like, oh, we have to clean it every time we use it. It's not our style. It's beautiful. We just didn't use it. Most adult kids don't want this stuff either. I don't think that's going to change. They want their own stuff, or they don't want to do it for the same reasons we didn't want it. People will keep it and say, my kids can deal with it. Maybe they'll change their mind. Really. Sometimes you just don't have your moms. You have your grandmothers or your great grandmothers because it's been a trend, right? No one wants to get rid of it. I have friends who have kept collections that their parents would keep, and they haven't been alive in 20 years. They don't look at them. They're in a bin in a closet, but they feel guilty if they got rid of it. Maybe this is an honest to goodness true statement. This was a client of mine, had a collection of stuffed frogs, like stuffed animals. They weren't necessarily pricey, but it was very sentimental, right? Did she look at them ever? No, they were in a plastic bin in a back closet in the guest room. She took them from house to house. She just didn't want to get rid of it. What's going to happen when she's gone? Her kids are going to take that over, and it's probably going to go straight to the dump or straight to hopefully a charity, something like that. Maybe they're going to have that same guilt and take it on themselves and then give it to their kids. We're just leaving messes for our kids to clean up. To go back to the silver story, I had been pressing my husband for a while saying, we're not using this. And it's in a closet in our garage. He finally realized that a local jeweler brought in a company that would evaluate silver, gold, that kind of stuff. And there was no obligation. It was a really reputable company. He made an appointment and he took it over there. He was very pleasantly surprised at the dollar amount that he could fetch for that. He gave that to them. Now, he brought other stuff as well that we thought was worth something. Guess what? It was worth nothing. A guy said the best bet is to take it to Goodwill. He had that in the car, so he took it. He took it over to a charity and donated it. We don't have that any longer here. Our adult daughter has no desire to have it. It was very freeing. It was not guilt. It was not like, oh, what would my mother think? No, not at all. Life changes. Our circumstances change. Just keep that in mind. Don't say it's going to be my adult kid's problem. I have a friend who said that because I was telling her the story of the silver. She said, we've got so much of that, but it's going to be my kid's problem. It's like, really? The best gift you can give your kids is to be organized, have your affairs in order, know where everything is, and not leave them with a big mess of junk they have to clean out. My husband used to have to fly to another state every weekend to clean out his mom's house. And his mom was alive. She had to go into an assisted living. Sweetheart of a woman. She didn't want to clean anything out. She never saw something she could throw away. You know what he was faced with. He would do that every weekend. Was that the best use of his time? No. I mean, we had a young daughter. I was working. I knew he was doing it because he felt obligated to do it. He wanted to help his siblings out as well. That took up a lot of time. If his mom had just taken ownership of that, cleaned it up while she could have, it would have been so much easier. So give your kids or the people you're going to leave behind a gift. Get organized now. So those are the 5 things. How are you ranking on knowing your financial life? How are you ranking on knowing all of your passwords in the digital world? How are you ranking on your house and car maintenance? How do you rank yourself on driving? Do you have a plan? And the fifth one, do you think you're going to leave behind something pretty clear cut for your kids? Again, I'm going to do a deep dive on each one of these, so hit subscribe so you can see each video. But I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know below what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. I hope you stick with me through this series. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to help you out so it's not overwhelming. Share this video with a friend that you think needs to see it, because I guarantee you probably have a friend that needs to see this and needs to take action. We're not going to do it all at once. I'm going to break it down for you so it's not overwhelming. But remember, it's never too late to live the life that you love.